Welcome to the GRG podcast. We are here with our real estate expert, Sherif Hosny, who worked in the real estate market in the last 2 decades, right? So please tell us something about yourself.
Well, you make me sound so old. My name is Sherif Hosny. I'm originally from Cairo, from Egypt. I landed in this beautiful country, 30 years ago now. I came here in 1995. I came to study at the Technical University of Budapest. And I guess it's something in my culture, something in my blood that although I am an engineer by trade, but the sales business has always taken over me, and I became obsessed with sales. In my last year of university, in the summer, just after I finished school, I responded to an advertisement in a newspaper looking for salespeople. It's a telesales job. So I said, what the hell? Let's see what is this about. And it turned out to be a training course for junior brokers in stock market. I thought, why not? Let's give it a shot. And I started this job, took it easy at the beginning, and then I was hooked. It was such an overwhelming, exciting, and I just felt the best about myself in this. And since then it was history. I forgot about my engineering background, and I have been in sales ever since. Going back to my background, because of this experience in the stock market, we were, of course, recommending financial advice. We were providing investment opportunities to different customers, and I realized that when it comes to the financial markets and investments in stocks and shares and so on and so forth, the result or the outcome is not always positive. And I honestly, after some time, I felt that it's affecting me. Just the fact that not every recommendation I made or anybody in the financial service industry can make will always turn out to be positive. And that's why when I came across an opportunity to work in the real estate market, first of all, apart from me falling totally in love with this beautiful architecture and this amazing, beautiful city, slowly I realized that, hello, I can sleep at night finally, because investing in real estate has always been one of the safest, one of the long-term safe investment. And it was history. I was in love from the very beginning.
Well, I'm glad to hear that. So, Sherif, tell me, why should anybody consider to invest in real estate in Hungary? Why Hungary?
How much time do you have? Oh my God, I can talk for days about this. Well, the most important factor, I guess, it's the affordable prices in Hungarian real estate market, as well as considerably high returns,
Okay.
high yields, rental yields. Second reason is very favorable tax laws here in Hungary governing the real estate market. A third reason can be the continuous or the steady rise of real estate prices. Another very important reason, in my opinion, is the strategic location of Hungary. Hungary is located in the center of Europe, bordered by 7 different major European countries, which makes it basically the gate between the east and the west of Europe. And also a major reason is Hungary, and specifically Budapest, is a major touristic attraction. Budapest attracts an amazing number of tourists every year that love being here because of its nightlife, because of It's diversity. Basically, in Budapest, you can find something for everybody. If you are in the older demographic, you can always find the beautiful museums, the opera house, the 5 stars Michelin star restaurants, and if you are younger, then the nightlife, the party places, the affordable restaurants and cafes and shopping possibilities. Just to mention a few, these are some of the reasons I believe Hungary is a major country for real estate investment now.
So what makes Budapest location so special?
Well, as I mentioned before, Hungary is located in the center of Europe, bordered by 7 major European countries. You are basically a couple of hours drive from 7 different countries. We like to spend our weekends in Vienna, for example, shopping. If we are looking for, Hungary is landlocked, so unfortunately there is no sea here or ocean, but you are a couple of hours away from Croatia. You are on the Mediterranean Sea.
And who doesn't love that?
And who doesn't love that? Even Italy. I've been to Italy a couple of times by car.
I love Italy.
Beautiful beaches. In the winter, you are up in Austria for skiing, or even Slovakia for skiing. So basically, this is also very rare to find in a driving distance from wherever you are. Another reason Hungary's location is very important is it makes it easy for transportation. So these major corporations, these companies that has a product that need to be transported, it's very strategically located because makes transportation so much easier. Speaking about Budapest in particular, Budapest is such a beautiful city, and there is something for everybody here.
Oh, that's true.
Exactly. So over the years, the expat community's grown exponentially in Hungary, and to service this community, a lot of major international schools, like the American school, the German school, the British school, to service basically
There's a French school too.
And the French school as well, exactly, which again makes it very
convenient
to a lot of the foreigners and expats living here.
And what about the public safety in Hungary? What do you think about that?
Well, this is a major factor. Actually, it's one of the most important factors, in my opinion, to feel comfortable, first of all, living, second of all, investing.
Oh, yeah. That's a really important factor.
Absolutely. When it comes to, say, the safety of Hungary, if you recall, when this whole immigration crisis started in Europe recently, Hungary had a very strict policy. At the time, it wasn't met with a lot of acceptance from the world and from Europe. It was a controversial take on the Hungarian government position on this. But funnily enough, we see the results of it today. We've all been following the news and seeing what's happening all around Europe. This was almost non-existent in Hungary. It is still non-existent in Hungary. Crime rate in Hungary is extremely low. In general, public safety. I remember once reading on Instagram even a small comment from Tom Hanks, the famous Hollywood actor. He was here filming some time ago, and he was so surprised being in the streets early morning in Budapest at 2 and 3 o'clock in the morning, and his comment was he did not believe his eyes that young girls are going home from party, cycling back, and he's
that's the usual Budapest picture that you can see.
And he said he has never seen this in the US or really anywhere he has been. Another lovely example, because of my wife, we have some good friends who are from Russia, who live here in Budapest. And I asked the gentleman, why Budapest? I mean, why did you choose Budapest?
Yes.
He's quite wealthy, and I told him, listen, with your money, you could have gone really anywhere.
Yeah, basically anywhere.
Anywhere, really. You could have settled in Cannes or Monte Carlo or wherever you want. And he said, well, we came from Moscow. Until my daughter was 12, 13 years old, she went to school in a security car with a bodyguard.
Really? In Russia?
In Russia,
Wow.
in Moscow, yes. Over here, I never felt the need.
Yes, you don't need that.
She goes partying, she comes home in time.
Of course.
But we've always felt very, very safe here, which again, for us, living here, we take this for granted.
Yes.
But for somebody from outside to realize this, it tells us how important it is.
Yes. So you mentioned Tom Hanks, actually, and there's a lot of movie shootings here in Budapest, right?
Yes. Well, lately Hungary has become a hub for filming a lot of Hollywood movies.
Yes, especially Hollywood production.
Hollywood production, exactly. In Hungary now, there is a couple of very, very professional film studios. And again, going back to the why Hungary is attractive, because they discovered that the cost of filming here in Hungary can be very favorable.
Yes, much less than in Hollywood.
Exactly. First of all, because of the taxation situation, and second of all, because of the lower labor cost. They can get the same exact professional labor or workforce, but at a much favorable prices. Which again, recently we've experienced an influx of Hollywood films and Hollywood productions being shot and filmed here in Hungary.
2 weeks ago, I just seen, I think John Cena maybe, jumping out from a helicopter in front of the river from a bridge. I just walked by and I was like, is it really happening?
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
So yeah, we have a lot of shootings.
Actually, a couple of years ago, I was standing in the street and Arnold Schwarzenegger just strolled in front of me on his bicycle.
I met him in my gym.
You go.
He was working out in my gym.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. So yeah, for us, seeing a Hollywood star now is, okay.
Yes.
Just another one.
Like a casual occasion.
Yes.
Yes. So, and also these productions, they have to live here. So
Exactly. And of course, when for such a Hollywood production, for example, they can stay in Hungary for months on end, and they also require accommodation.
Yes.
And this is something we are happy also to be involved in as well. I mean, in the GRG Realty group, we have throughout the years we have garnered very good relationships with real estate that's available for rent, high end, of course, rentals, which is still very limited in Budapest, but we have succeeded finally, or we have succeeded to build a very good network of available rental, high-end rental for these Hollywood actors. So yeah, we are.
Yes, sounds good.
Yes.
So you mentioned the taxation system.
Oh yes.
So what makes our taxation system so attractive for foreign investors? What makes it so special for them?
Well, as I mentioned before, Hungarian taxation system was deliberately put this way to attract foreign direct investments. Currently, Hungary has some of the most favorable taxation systems in whole Europe. Corporate tax here is at 9%.
Wow, that's something.
Yes. Personal tax is at 15%, which is again considered to be one of the lowest in Europe. And VAT, value-added taxes on property, was also set at 5%, which makes it extremely favorable. So this has created a chain reaction of return on investment in general, I have to pay less tax on it, and it makes it very attractive for me and my hard-earned money.
Yes, right. So if you had to compare these taxation systems and or just the pricing in general in Europe and Hungary, what would you say?
Very interesting, very, very interesting. I was actually surprised. I try my best always to keep myself up to date with the real estate market and mostly the neighboring countries. How are the market has been evolving? What are the average square meter prices and so on and so forth? And on a list of 25 to 30 major European cities, Budapest comes at the lowest in terms of square meter price. An average square meter price in Budapest now at a very central location is somewhere around 3,500 euros per square meter, compared to 28 in Paris,
There's a huge difference between that.
Huge difference compared to 30,000 euros per square meter in London, even Moscow, even compared to Bratislava, which is an hour and a half away from Budapest. So yes, Hungary is, real estate prices are very, very competitive right now. Yes.
So if I'm interested in purchasing a property in Budapest, what and where should I buy?
When it comes to location, and the purpose of purchasing the property, if it is something for yourself to buy and live in, also we have to divide this into two demographics, really: the younger demographic and the slightly older demographic. Older demographic tend to choose the Buda side of Budapest because Buda, with its hilly nature, it is more famous for its houses with gardens, old villas.
Families tend to choose that because it's more quiet, it's
more family oriented.
Yes, family friendly.
Family friendly, exactly. The younger demographic clearly prefers the city center or the central locations because of the nightlife, because of the services, because of the restaurants and cafes and
which
entertainment.
is actually really special in Budapest, the nightlife.
Absolutely. This is one of the most attractive things about Budapest. Even comparing it to a beautiful, gorgeous city like Vienna. We all love Vienna. We enjoy our time so much. But when it comes to nightlife, we come back to Budapest.
Yes, that's
true.
Because,
yes, over here in Vienna, I mean, you go over there for the shopping and for the restaurants and so on. But at 8 o'clock, it's done.
Yes.
Budapest, you can be here until morning hours, and again being so safe. It's
once I've heard one of my friends told me who's from the States, and he told me that Budapest is the city where if you want to have a drink on a Monday night or afternoon, you can.
Absolutely.
Like anywhere.
Absolutely. And again, it makes Budapest so interesting for everybody.
Yes.
Everybody can find something interesting to do in Budapest. Again, if you are from the older demographic, you will always have the opera house, the theaters, the museums. You can have such a great time here. If you are from the younger demographic, then you have the nightlife, the bars, the cafes, the restaurants, the affordable restaurants and foods and so on. At the same street, you can find the Michelin star restaurants as well. In Hungary now, by the way, we have how many? 6, 7?
I
Michelin?
think, around
or even
that.
more. So,
Also, Hungary is really famous about their thermal baths.
Oh, absolutely.
So, like, a lot of tourists come here specifically for that.
Yes, Budapest, only in Budapest lays on 123 natural springs.
Wow, I didn't know that.
There you go. Come to me for some Hungarian lessons.
Okay, we'll do. So, yes, and what are, you mentioned that the Buda side is more family-friendly, family houses with gardens. How would you describe the Pest side?
Well, the Pest Pest side is flat in nature, and this is the city center. So the most financial institutes are located here in the Pest side. The shopping centers, the parks, the restaurants, the entertainment, the nightlife, and this is what we see that 90% of foreigners prefer to be, especially when they are here for a short period of time. You want to be a walking distance from everything. When you go to travel and visit a city for the first time, you want to be as central
Yes, of course.
as possible. So yeah, that's
Yes.
how it.
We
how it
already
usually is.
talked so much about tourism and Budapest. So, if I'm an investor, how would you describe the Airbnb situation in Budapest for me?
Well, Budapest has been a major tourist attraction city in Europe. We have seen tremendous number of tourists coming to Budapest, and it's very interesting because going back to Hungary's central location makes it really a crossing intersection between the east and the west. If you are just traveling from Russia to London, you have to stop by Budapest. Budapest is in the middle. So this also makes it very attractive and very, by nature, a touristic hub for anybody traveling from the east to west. It made Budapest very popular for short-term rentals. So although we are seeing recently some restrictions in the central districts about Airbnb, but we believe that this is very lucrative and a very standard way of investing in real estate, because with the number of tourists coming and the considerably high price of hotels here in Europe in general,
It's more a luxury segment.
it's I would say more of a luxury segment, and again, since Budapest is attracting a lot of the younger demographic, they would rather stay in
Yes.
an Airbnb in the city center. And I have to say, I have recently seen very beautiful,
Yes, I've
beautifully
seen really beautiful Airbnbs in Budapest.
Yes, and I have personally been to Airbnbs. I mean, abroad, and just by comparison, oh my God, Budapest
Right, I agree. I have to
Airbnb
agree with
apartments
you.
here are gorgeous.
So we talked about short-term rentals. What
Yes.
about long-term rentals?
Oh, long-term rental is the staple of real estate investment here, and high yield investment, because of the presence, or the very strong presence, of international and multinational companies here. A lot of expats are not only visiting, and a lot of foreigners not only visiting and staying for a short time, but they are living and working here, and in return they need accommodation. And this is what the Hungarian real estate rental market is basically built on the foreigners and expats living and working here, and that resulting, considering the real estate prices, that resulted in a very healthy, high return on investment and high yields compared to the rest of Europe. Here in Budapest, in central locations, we are looking at a reasonable, anywhere between 4 to 7% rental yields, which is extremely rare to find now in Budapest. Again, since rental yields are strictly connected or strictly proportional to the property prices, the lower property prices is the higher yield it results.
Yes.
So yes, this again one of the reasons Hungarian real estate market is very, very healthy and will continue to be very healthy.
So safe to say it's a good investment opportunity and
Oh,
option
absolutely. It's a
if you're a
no-brainer.
foreign investor.
No brainer, absolutely.
So let's go back to the taxation system a little bit more. So what would you say, how does the Hungarian government helping the investors who wants to invest in real estate?
Well, the first thing they did is that they lowered the corporate tax. Corporate tax here in Hungary is the lowest, one of the lowest in Europe.
How much is it, sorry?
9%.
9%.
9%. And personal tax is 15%, which is also one of the lowest in Europe. Also, VAT on Hungarian real estate was deliberately lowered to 5% on real estate.
5% on VAT.
Yes, compared to 27% on consumer
Yes.
products. So that's again another incentive
Yes.
from the government to encourage people to locals and
That's
foreigners.
really attractive number. let's
Very
say
much,
that.
very much. Also, when it comes to two figures are very important when it comes to property investment. First of all, the transaction tax. So when you first purchase a property, whether you're Hungarian or foreigners, there is a tax called stamp duty, which is set at 4%. It's a one-off payment. You pay it when you buy a property. Okay. When the time comes to sell the property, then we are talking about capital gain tax. So basically, it's a tax that is set against your profit. Let's say you buy a property for 100,000 euros, you sell it for 200,000 euros, you are paying tax on the profit, on the amount you made as a profit. And also another incentive and a very attractive tax reduction from the local government is that this capital gain tax totally disappears after 5 years of owning a property. So I always recommend my investors and my customers to keep the property at least for 5 years. But even if not, it's only 15%
Yes.
capital gain tax.
Meanwhile, in other countries in Europe, if you sell it before 5 years, it could be a really high.
Apart from that, in other European countries, there is even a property tax,
Exactly.
which is a yearly tax that you pay
Yes.
every year on the property you own. Over here in Hungary, it is zero. You don't have any
that must be
property tax.
really attractive for
Very
investors.
attractive. Very attractive.
So let's stay in that lane.
Okay.
I've heard that the Hungarian government has this new program called Golden Visa.
Yes.
So could you tell us about that and how does that affect the real estate market?
Well, we are yet to see the program actually working. We've heard that, yes, it's a program that they are planning to introduce.
What is this program exactly?
Well, basically, it's a program offering foreign investors from non-European origins a resident permit for owning a property here in Budapest, which again will attract a big demographic, let's say from the Far East, from the Middle East, basically non-EU countries, from Russia, from Ukraine, from the entire Eastern Bloc who are not yet a part of the European Union. Yes, as an effort again from the Hungary to attract foreign direct investments, and a lot of these investors would find this program very, very interesting because basically by purchasing a property here, you are an official resident of Europe.
So, Sherif, what type of properties are available in Budapest?
Oh, well, the usual suspects. So we have the newly built property, which is projects that modern facilities, modern amenities, from car parking to 24 hours concierge service to perhaps we've seen some projects recently in Budapest that offer full fitness centers and spa and swimming pools and so on and so forth, which is again I see a big demand for this type of property here in Budapest, especially now when it comes to even looking at the local domestic real estate investors, which are mostly, we've seen recently a trend now where young professionals, Hungarian young professionals, who's been lately, making some good investments perhaps on the stock market or in Bitcoin or so on and so forth, and they are looking for accommodation, they are looking for real estate. They are still young to decide to go to Buda and live in the Buda Hills in a villa with a swimming pool and so. They still want to stay in the city center, but they would like to have the modern amenities and services that you get, and this is a trend I see now in Budapest, that we need I believe developers need to concentrate on, because this number is increasing. Young professionals who are looking for to purchase a property with modern facilities and modern amenities, and we're missing this in Budapest. The second type of property, which is honestly my personal favorite, is the old classical, charming, beautifully architecture buildings in Budapest.
I love classical architecture. It's so beautiful.
Oh my God! Yeah, especially now. This is what you're studying,
yes.
right? Isn't it? So yeah, I mean, Budapest has some of the most beautiful architecture in whole Europe. Even sometimes they call it the Paris of the East, because
they do.
Oh yes, they do. I was actually recently in Paris, and I was so surprised of how similar.
It is. I mean, it was built in the same era. It's also really similar to Vienna.
That's true.
We were like the same country, so that makes sense.
Same empire. That is true. And I find, especially with foreigners investing here in Budapest, that this is what attracts them.
Yes.
But at the same time, it's very important to find a nicely renovated apartment in these classical buildings, because as much as we love them, let's not forget these buildings were built 200-300 years ago.
Yes.
And in a lot of cases, these are old properties and need a lot of work. But once it's done properly, these can be amazing properties too.
And it's also very unique because it was built so back then, and they renovated it like there's no two similar apartments I've seen so far.
That is true. And also what I find very interesting about these classic apartments is they come with this amazing ceiling height,
yes,
up to 5 meters ceiling
yes,
height, which you don't find in the newly built properties, and this makes it very, very attractive. And also the fact that in downtown Budapest, in the very central locations of Budapest, 90% of these buildings are historical protected buildings that you cannot just knock down and bring instead a newly built. So they are very valuable, extremely valuable. And because of that, you find newly built very rare in central districts of Budapest, which again bring us to this dilemma: where shall I buy a property? Again, in my opinion, as an investor, at least investing for the first time in Budapest, I would strongly suggest to find a nicely renovated apartment in a classical building in the center of Budapest, because again, you will hardly find any newly built properties in the center of the city. And going back again to location, you really want to be in the center of the city. Centrally located properties will always have a much higher capital appreciation and rental income as well.
Mm-hmm. And what would you say about properties that need to be renovated? Would you recommend that segment?
Oh, this can actually be also a very attractive option. I might not recommend it for a first-time investor. Just the fact of you being a foreigner and not knowing really the city and the laws, and again going back to the fact that most of these buildings are protected historical buildings. There's a lot of restrictions when it comes to renovating the building, changing the windows, changing the shades, anything that affects the view of the property or the view of the apartment in the building can be very restricted in some scenarios. So I would recommend to stay away from this as a first-time investor. Make sure that you are buying a nicely renovated property, problem-free for at least the next 10-15 years. And then once you are already a seasoned investor, and you have a bit of experience, but also you can rely on us for this. This is one of the services also we offer our clients. If they insist on buying a property for renovation, we can of course help them with this, and which keeps this in one hand, which I think is a very, very important thing for foreign investors to deal with a one-stop shop company. that helps him with all the aspects of his investment. So from buying the property to renovating the property if needed, to furnishing the property, and when the property is ready for occupation, then find a tenant for this property. Once the tenant is there, then manage the property for me. And once you manage the property, then okay, I live in the United States. Will you help me, for example, transfer the funds to from the rental fee and paying the utility bills and to where I am, to the bank of my choice in the US or in England or wherever I am. So it is very
convenient. Yes.
Very,
you basically don't even have to be in Budapest or Hungary. You can
exactly.
just tell you that, okay, Sherif, here's my money, you can do anything with it, I just need, the profit.
You know where to find us.
So if I want to invest as a foreigner, where should I start? Where should I go? Where should I start to look?
Okay. My most important recommendation for any foreign investor, first of all, reach out to a credible real estate agency, because this is where you make sure that your investment is safe.
Why is it so important?
Well, going to a foreign country where you don't know the market, you don't know the laws, you don't know the taxation system, you don't know where to start really. This is where a real estate agency will put you on the right track. Many forget that the goal of a real estate agent not to become rich from this first purchase that you make. A real estate agency is basically a consultancy. They are looking for your future business, really. They are not looking for this one purchase that you do and you never see them again. If they recommend you, if the recommendation is not up to par, you will never work with them again. You need to make sure that you are giving your best advice to an investor for the first time in order to secure and guarantee his future business. So from this point of view, you are almost guaranteed as an investor working with a credible real estate agency that it's in their best interest to give you the best advice ever, to guarantee your future business, your recommendations, your referrals for the future. All your friends, all your family, you will ask them, guys, go to the GRG. Guys, go to this agent in Budapest, because they will take care of you. If it was me, this is what I will do, investing in a foreign company.
It makes it so much easier, and you can just lay back and you know that it's secured, it's in a safe space, and the recommendations are credible and legit.
That is true. And been working in the GRG group for some time now. I realized what a team to be working with. If we combine the experience of the colleagues here, we are looking at more than 50 years of experience in the real estate market.
That's a lot of years.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So you mentioned the team and how much you think of it. What makes the team and company so special?
Well, the Global Realty Group as a team is an up-to-date and very reliable team. As I mentioned, with a combined experience of more than 50 years in the real estate market, domestic and international. I believe that our main strength at the GRG is guaranteeing good experience, good returns, good profit, and guaranteeing a future business of our customers. We can only do that by giving them a sound, good advice on his future investments. Also, our strength, I believe, is this continuous research and breaking down the Hungarian real estate market in order to find the best deal we can for our customers and attending to his every need, whether it's purchase, whether it's the renovation, whether it's the management, whether it's the financial advice, whether it's the legal advice, whether it's the multilingual team that can attend to a wide a variety of.
What languages are you speaking? Like in the
Oh,
company?
myself. Well, my mother tongue is Arabic. I'm fluent in Hungarian.
By the way, I love when you speak Arabic.
Oh, thank you. Bit noisy.
It is. I always think you're angry.
No, we are just louder than usual. I speak Hungarian. I speak English. I dabble in French and Spanish, but I wouldn't call myself an expert by any means. But also, the colleagues, we have colleagues that speak perfect French, Italian. We have also some partners who are more than happy to help us with customers from the Far East, whether it's Chinese or Vietnamese, which is also a big segment of
What about Russian?
Russian as well, Russian and Ukrainian. So yeah, I think it helps. I think it helps a lot when the communication is easy.
Yes.
Also, since we believe in this long-term relationship, we try our best again to keep all of our client needs in one hand. So we need our clients to have this peace of mind that although I am making a big step of deciding to invest somewhere abroad, I have a reliable team who's taking care of this for me. All what I need is collect my profits by the end of the day, in my bank account, and I am more than happy to work with them in the future and recommend my friends and family to the same team. Also, we basically intend to provide a comprehensive service to our customers. Efficiency, quality, in every respect. So at the end of the day, our customers will feel that their investments, their life savings, their financial goals are in good hands.
That's really important.
Yes.
Thank you, Sherif, very much for your time.
You are welcome, and I look forward to be back.
Me too.
Thank you very much.